The Post-Graduation Work Permit, PGWP, is a valuable immigration program in Canada that allows international students who have completed a program of study at a designated learning institution in Canada to obtain an open work permit. This work permit allows them to gain valuable Canadian work experience after their studies, which can be a significant step towards permanent residency in Canada. Below is a detailed write-up on the PGWP program and how to qualify for it. Overview of the PGWP program. The PGWP program is designed to help international students transition from studying in Canada to working in the country. It is an open work permit, which means you are not required to have a job offer to apply, and it allows you to work for any employer in Canada. The duration of the work permit depends on the length of your program of study in Canada. Qualification criteria for PGWP. To be eligible for a post-graduation work permit in Canada, you must meet several criteria. 1. Study at a designated learning institution. You must have completed a full-time program of study at a designated learning institution in Canada. These institutions include universities, colleges, and other educational institutions approved by the Canadian government. 2. Program duration. The duration of your program of study is a crucial factor in determining the length of your PGWP. To be eligible, your program must be at least 8 months long. If your program is less than 8 months, you will not be eligible for a PGWP. 3. Graduation. You must have successfully completed your program of study and received a degree, diploma, or certificate. 4. Full-time studies. You must have studied full-time in Canada for the entire duration of your program. Exceptions may apply in cases of part-time studies due to disabilities or other approved reasons. 5. Valid study permit. You must have held a valid study permit while studying in Canada. 6. Application timing. To apply for the PGWP, you should do so within 180 days, 6 months, of receiving written confirmation of your program completion and before your study permit expires. 7. No previous PGWP. You cannot have previously been issued a PGWP unless you have completed another eligible program of study. PGWP duration. The length of your post-graduation work permit depends on the length of your program of study. Programs less than 8 months in duration are not eligible for a PGWP. Programs between 8 months and 2 years in duration are eligible for a PGWP equal to the length of the program. Programs 2 years or longer are eligible for a PGWP of 3 years. Important notes. If you complete multiple eligible programs of study, you may be eligible for a PGWP based on the combined length of those programs. PGWP holders are free to work for any employer in Canada and can switch jobs without the need to apply for a new work permit. Gaining Canadian work experience through the PGWP can be a significant advantage if you plan to apply for permanent residency in Canada through programs like Express Entry or Provincial Nominee Programs, PNPs. Applying for PGWP. You can apply for the PGWP online through the Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC, website. Make sure to gather all required documents, including your study permit, transcripts, and proof of program completion, before applying. Application deadline. Graduates in Canada. Students graduating in Canada or applying at the port of entry are still required to apply for the PGWP within 180 days of holding a valid study permit, and within 180 days of receiving written notification from their designated learning institution, DLI, that they completed their program. Graduates outside of Canada. Students who graduate while outside of Canada and meet the eligibility requirements of the temporary PGWP policy changes described above do not need to hold or to have held a valid study permit within 180 days of applying for the PGWP. In order to be eligible to apply, these graduates must either have a study permit or have received approval for a study permit. Still apply within 180 days of receiving written notification from their DLI that they completed their program. Post-graduation work permit eligible programs and institutions. Graduates are not eligible for the post-graduation work permit, PGWP, if they graduated from a program that was delivered by a private career college under a curriculum licensing agreement with a public PGWP eligible institution in another province. A transitional period will be provided for students who are already enrolled in such programs or have already submitted an application for a PGWP on or before January 31, 2023. Those students remain eligible for a PGWP if they remain in the program and meet all other eligibility criteria. Students are ineligible for a post-graduation work permit if they have completed the following: an English as a second language or French as a second language course or program of study, general interest or self-improvement courses, a course or program of study at a private career college. Eligible institutions. The applicant must provide evidence that the program or programs of study were taken in Canada at one of the following eligible Canadian Designated Learning Institutions, DLIs. A public post-secondary institution, such as a college, a trade or technical school, a university, Cégep in Quebec, a private post-secondary institution that operates under the same rules and regulations as public institutions in Quebec, a private or public secondary or post-secondary institution in Quebec offering qualifying programs of 900 hours or longer leading to a Diploma of Vocational Studies, DVS, an Attestation of Vocational Specialization, AVS, a Canadian, private institution authorized by provincial statute to confer degrees, such as an associate, bachelor's, master's or doctoral degree, but only if the student is enrolled in a program of study leading to a degree, as authorized by the province, which may not include all programs of study offered by the private institution. DLIs that lose their designation. Applicants whose DLI loses its designation status before the completion of their program may transfer to another program or remain at the institution that has lost its designation status to complete their program of study. These applicants may be eligible for a post-graduation work permit, provided they meet all other program requirements and have continued to meet the conditions of their study permit, for example, be enrolled and actively pursuing studies. Conclusion. In conclusion, the post-graduation work permit is a valuable opportunity for international students in Canada to gain Canadian work experience after completing their studies. Meeting the eligibility criteria and applying within the specified timeframe is crucial for a successful application. The PGWP can be a stepping stone towards a successful career and potential permanent residency in Canada. However, immigration policies can change over time, so it's essential to consult the official IRCC website or seek advice from a qualified immigration consultant or lawyer for the most up-to-date information and guidance.